Hello, and welcome to the This Happened Today in History podcast for February 17th. I am your host, Mr. Miller. This podcast will cover a number of topics that happened on this date in history. Please visit the podcast webpage at thishappenedtoday.buzzsprout.com. There you can download the notes page, which will help you organize the information as well as develop your own ideas on how these events changed the world around us. If you are interested in hearing more, please consider subscribing so you will not miss out on what happened tomorrow in history. In 1912, the first electric self-start was installed in a Cadillac by General Motors. Up until this time, all cars needed to be started by cranking a starting handle, which was hard work and caused multiple minor injuries when the car backfired during the starting process. According to General Motors' website, hand cranking was the number one injury risk in the early days of the automobile. As cars grew larger and more purposeful, so did the engines, and the effort required to start them was very, very difficult. It was so difficult, in fact, that it gave the rise to the term cranky, which often describes someone's mood after struggling to start a car. The electric starter was also GM's first electric motor that anticipated the growth in the electrification of the automobile. In 1956, the construction of the St. Lawrence Seaway continued at an intense pace. The Canadian authorities were faced with relocating 6,500 people who lived in one town and 8 villages and 220 farms, all up along the area where the Long Sault Dam would flood over 20,000 acres. They were committed to create entirely new villages for all these people as a part of this project, which when finished would be a truly great feat of construction and engineering expertise. The cities and villages were moved using heavy equipment and framing that could transport buildings up to 200 tons. All 550 houses were relocated in new areas that were redeveloped and re-engineered as the new villages and towns. Finally, in 1972, the 15,007,034th Volkswagen Beetle rolled out of the Volkswagen factory in Wolfsburg, Germany. This surpassed the Model T's previous production record to become the most heavily produced car in history. The Model T was developed in Detroit, Michigan by Henry Ford. It was not the first gas-powered vehicle, but it was revolutionary in the manufacturing process that has been adopted and adapted to many different processes that we see even today. The Model T was in production from 1908 through 1927. More than 15 million Model Ts were produced, and at one point the Ford company was producing up to 10,000 cars per day in 1925. The Beetle was an economy car built for the people. Over 21 million Beetles were produced from 1938 through 2003, with 15 million of these being produced in Germany. You have been listening to the This Happened Today in History podcast for February 17th. I thank you for listening, and I hope that you have enjoyed learning about historical events from the past. Thank you today for the following websites for the information regarding the topics: thepeoplehistory.com, General Motors Media website, the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway System website, History Channel, and the classiccarhistory.com. The music used as the background track for this podcast is Americana, created by Kevin MacLeod on Incompetech.com. If you have enjoyed this information and would like to hear more, please consider subscribing, as this will keep the historical events in your feed in the morning for each day. I hope you have a great day.